We are all about ideas worth stealing. Totally forgot I had that in there, guys.
Let's put this sound effect in. Ideas.
Worth stealing. Yes, so we really hope that you guys can use some of these and tell us how they worked at your next hybrid event. Okay, so first one. I am evangelical about user-generated content. And I think this needs to start way before the event ever begins, way before load-in, way before you get on site. You guys need to be implementing this strategy of user-generated or attendee-generated content. I think a few fun ways to do this in the context of hybrid is during the registration, you go ahead and ask for people to submit vocal video submissions. That's another cool tech tool out there. Or they can send in video submissions around questions that they might have for your keynote that you've said is going to be there. Or if you have a particular topic that you're going to be diving into, ask the attendees, celebrate that collective brain wealth, I say, that all of your attendees have that are going to be coming to the event or watching your event live, and give them a chance to share out those learnings or share out those ideas and put them together in some way. I think the questions for the keynote is something that we've implemented the most during our virtual events that we've produced for clients recently.
I mean, essentially, if you know that the topic of a session is going to be X, polling your attendees preemptively with, hey, send us your questions that you've got in regards to this particular, session content topic. And then the keynote can not only, modify their presentation to make sure and drive home those critical points that the audience is most interested in, but then, they're essentially prepping themselves for a really productive Q&A experience for the attendees.
And I really think it changes up the method of Q&A for hybrid events that gives the online attendees just as much attention and focus during that Q&A, rather than it being just the questions are submitted through the app or whatnot. Like if people got the chance to literally submit a video of them saying, "Hi, Brene Brown," or "Hi, whoever the keynote is.
Shout out to
this
Brene.
is my question for you," and they get some airtime. Like, what a great way to make everyone feel seen, heard, and part of the event. So
I mean, we talk about this all the time. A big component of events is community, and if you're trying to engage your community, wherever they may be, an ideal event strategy is to have that engagement not just peak, at the moment that the event is happening, but
the bell curve of engagement.
You've got a bell curve where folks are engaged preemptively as you're leading up to this. They're engaged day of, obviously, if everything goes to plan, and then right, and then afterwards, obviously, it's great to keep them engaged with creative content ideas that we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And to use the word evangelical, I just think it's such a great way and a total missed opportunity if you aren't tapping into your attendees pre-event to go ahead and start capturing some of these ideas, these questions, these pain points to make your event hyper relevant.
Especially for hybrid.
Them. Yeah, exactly. All right. I could talk all day about that one, but let's keep going.
This is fun.
Backstage Pass. This is a really fun idea, and basically the premise is to leverage a roving reporter style, like behind the scenes look of your event. Bonus points if you make this an actual attendee that's doing maybe the interviewing of your...
Gamify it or something.
Yes, double bonus points, Joseph, in my opinion, if the attendee was rewarded this chance or this opportunity during some type of pre-event engagement strategy.
The person who would be most engaged pre-event is probably going to be a great person
to do interviews.
Very
and walk
around and live stream, Facebook live stream your backstage experience, or just kind of give fun sneak peeks into, what it takes to pull it all together.
This is a great sponsorship monetization concept too, like backstage look brought to you by your diamond sponsor, your gold sponsor, platinum sponsor, whatever it is.
Just everybody clean up your cases.
As long
make
as
it look nice.
as long as the person doing the interview is
It's fun.
and is good at it, you can give them maybe some guardrails, things to avoid in their questioning and that kind of
Don't
thing.
let me do that.
Don't let Joseph
I'll
your
say
backstage
things.
roving reporter. Bad idea. But like, and I say this all the time, this doesn't have to be a high production quality thing. This could literally be someone walking around selfie iPhone style, if that's a minimum viable product that would make you feel like you could try this at your next event.
Yeah,
If
and I
you-
mean, it's like guerrilla style,
Yeah.
engagement. And then too, using it in post-event content can be fun. You'll probably get great bloopers out of this.
Tons of B-roll opportunity. If it is a higher quality camera, which I mean at this point our phones are that, you've got some fun B-roll that you could put into an event highlight reel or maybe in a sizzle reel for the event next year. Also, to your point, I think you just talked about on demand. This might be a great thing to make exclusive to your online audience so that they feel like they are getting something
Special.
being online that the in-person people may not be getting access to since they are in their seats or
That's a
they're
good
taking
idea.
their seats. And then to talk about that, engagement post-event, this might be footage that the people that attended in person might actually go log on to your
I would
platform,
watch that.
your learning management system, whatever you're using for that kind of online repository of your content. The people that attended in person really might want to go catch up on some of this after the event. So it really helps with that ongoing community engagement, which is really just such a focus for the industry right now.
Yeah, I could just, to me, like seeing a production workroom where you've got people putting swag in bags and printing badges. I mean, it's how it all gets done. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fun.
I'd be interested in seeing that.
Exactly.
I'd watch it.
All right.
And just like speaker prep rooms. I mean, I'm seeing presenters prepare and refine, and just seeing how much work. I mean, gosh, these presenters put so much effort into pulling all this content together. It's like seeing that
It's huge.
get worked out. I'd find that interesting.
All right. I went to the next one. Listen only sessions.
This is the coolest thing ever. We were talking about this before this, and I was like, I love this idea
Cool
so
idea,
much.
Taylor. Thanks.
I'm
so,
your biggest fan.
if this is, oh, he's my biggest fan. So if you're producing a longer event, which to me is like anything more than 2 hours long at this point, with all of our limited brain width
There it
coming
is.
out of a pandemic, I really want people to consider producing a podcast, a listen only session, a walk and talk session to allow people to move around. Maybe literally say for your online audience, this would be a great time to multitask because you're not going to be missing out on any visuals, right? I think this is,
Say that again. It's so good.
yeah, if you're going to make it a listen only session, you can literally tell your online attendees, hey, it's okay to multitask in the next 30 minutes
Or
because
go
you're
get
not
some
going to
fresh
be
air.
missing out on any visuals. Please go outside. These people look like they're having a very pleasant time.
They look like they're listening to a really compelling session, like an episode of On Air.
On Air with Applebox, I bet that's what they're listening to. You're right. No, but okay, you guys might be asking like, but how is this, hybrid? And I think it qualifies as bridging the gap between audiences because you're varying the session format type for both attendee types.
And like we were saying earlier, different people learn in different ways.
Yes.
This to me is ideal.
Yeah.
Because I need to be able to work and get done with the things that I've got to get done, but also having a pod on in the background lets me get informed and educated
Right.
while still being able to do what I need to do. And knowing for sure that I'm not going to miss something that's visually pertinent is going to kind of allow my brain to not prioritize this necessarily, but still be able to catch it. And, obviously this depends. You don't want to do this for every session. Clearly, some stuff you're going to need visuals for. Some stuff you're going to want eyeballs on. Some stuff you're going to want 100% attention for. But
Right.
different learners consume information in different ways. And for me, this would be ideal.
My go-to would be if you have something that's highly motivational, that's going to keep people engaged. It's thought-provoking, but it doesn't require a lot of visuals to back it up. That would be a perfect
Yeah,
walk and
like
talk
Brene
session.
Brown. Like if you were to
Bring
get
back our girl. Yes.
if you were to have some podcast that she's recorded that's pertinent to what you're discussing during this event, and you're using that pre-recorded audio as a way to tee up live conversations, and it's just a dialogue between you and the folks in the room and live chat from your remote audience, everyone is listening to that same content at the same time, and then having a conversation around that, that can purely be driven as an audio only experience.
Yeah. So I want to revisit what you said and just say it in a different way, because I think it's super important. There are huge cost saving implications to these listen only sessions. And I was on a client consultation call just last week, and they had this aha moment when we were talking about the particular theme and message for their event. And they kept saying, oh, I wish we could afford XYZ keynote. And I said, well, let's turn it into a walk and talk session where we use something that Keynote has made publicly available, like something on their own podcast, and just carve out time for everyone to go listen to that exact thing. Then you bring people together in workshop format, breakout format, or general session format and have a conversation around key takeaways. Or maybe your leadership team, continues to supplement what that podcast was talking about from their own perspective through the lens of your organization.
So many benefits too. I mean, like we were saying, presenters work so hard to develop content for a session. This takes a little bit of that lift off. I mean, if you've got an hour block and this can fill up 30 minutes of it, that's going to help your keynote feel that weight is lifted a little bit.
Huge. So love this one. I really want to know if people are doing it, trying it, having success with it, because I think it just helps with learning styles. It helps with attention spans. It gets people up and moving. There's a focus that you can do on health. There's budget benefits. There's just it checks every box. So
if you think about it, you can use this as pre-event engagement opportunities as well.
Yes, Joseph, you can.
Go ahead. You were about to take off.
No, you go ahead.
Using it in pre-event communications, almost like, do a little bit of research. Here, check out this 10-minute snippet of a podcast that we're going to be referring to, or, read this chapter of this book. We're all going to have a conversation around this particular topic.
Yeah.
And, again, different learning types, different folks, but your overachievers are going to love this kind of stuff.
What he said.
Yep.
It's awesome. Works great for early coffee meetups around, hey, these 3 things for our 3-day event. We're going to dive into this book, this podcast, and this whatever.
Totally. I mean, it's an easy networking icebreaker. I mean,
totally.
the list could go on and on. So.
And it helps, again, what you said to your point of immersing people in the event, not just when they get on site. So good for all that.
Creating the bell curve of engagement.
So, any other kind of rapid fire ideas around bridging the gap for ideas worth stealing for hybrid?
Yeah, this photo actually makes me think of one that we did back to that event that Taylor mentioned from a concert hall here in Atlanta. This was pretty cool. It was so simple to do. We just took a camera that was meant to be one of the 5 cameras that we were using for the stream, and racked it way out of focus, so you just get a blurred view of the entire room, and then overlaid some graphics on top of it that said, the stream will begin momentarily. That messaging can be whatever you want it to be, but basically tying
looping sponsor
logo loops, whatever you want it to be, but tying the space, the experience that the in-room people are having back to the folks who are online, just kind of.
And again, this was an idea I came up with that was self-serving in some ways. When I think about me as an online attendee, when I'm viewing a event that's happening somewhere that I'm not a part of, and it stays in this countdown look, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, and
I want to know if people are taking their seats. I want to know if there's a super cool host on stage and something's happening that I don't get to be a part of. I think it literally just drops the cortisol levels of your online viewers by showing them what's going on and going ahead and breaking down that barrier that's normally there.
having some kind of music playing, which if you're streaming to a site like YouTube, make sure it's royalty free,
Right.
FYI. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but you might get
Works best.
the
Best practice.
the AI robots might come find you, take your stream down. That's a huge. We probably should have touched on that a little bit. Is some music stuff for hybrid. The countdown is a powerful way of letting folks know about how long till your session starts. Again, having a camera that's showing what's happening in room, just people mulling around. I mean, it could be simple stuff.
Yeah, show the audience. We showed the DJ. Did you mention that? We had a great,
He was awesome.
overhead shot of the DJ. And then it was fun because at the end of the event, everybody came up for a curtain call, all the founders and everything that were part of the event, all the presenters. And it was a great shot just to kind of show the audience, everybody taking pictures, and what was going on stage. So just play around with it.
Anything that you can do to make the online folks feel connected to what's happening in the room.
With a unique perspective that the in-person attendees may not be getting access to.
I think we could probably talk for another hour about remote engagement tools, poll everywhere, things like that, ways to engage non-verbally. We could talk for hours about ways to take live questions from remote attendees and what all the factors of that are. I mean, we could just go on and on. That's the thing about it, is back to the crazy conspiracy theory guy. There's so many things that are all connected together. It's just about knowing what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and then putting a plan in place and having good partners involved that know how to get you from A to B.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that wraps Daily Dose of Inspiration. I hope that you guys can implement some of those ideas and reach out to us and let us know how it worked for you.